Max Verstappen has been F1's most dominant driver since 2021. He's now a full-time world champion and has been part of one of F1's most dominant teams in history. Red Bull looked unstoppable between 2022 and 2024. However, things have now changed. Red Bull have lost many senior figures such as Jonathan Wheatley, Adrian Newey, and most importantly, Christian Horner. But are they about to lose Max Verstappen as well? Over the last few weeks, there's been multiple rumours about Max Verstappen jumping ship to Mercedes for 2026. However, it doesn't look likely it's going to happen for 2026 now, but 2027 is still possible. But interestingly, Max Verstappen has been spotted with Toto Wolff on many occasions outside of the F1 paddock. Is that just all a massive coincidence, or is there actually something behind this? And if there is something behind this could be one of the most shocking transfers in Formula 1 history. Let me know in the comments, do you think Max Verstappen will be on his way to Mercedes for 2027? Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So then F1, how are we all? It is so good to see F1 back after a long summer break, and it's good to be back making videos. Yes, I have been away for quite a while, I'll be honest. I've been travelling quite a bit and I've not really had time for this channel. But more importantly, is Max Verstappen about to leave Red Bull? Because at the moment, the team is a huge mess and is going through a complete restructuring. A few weeks ago, team principal Christian Horner was sacked by Red Bull after being there for many years. In fact, when Horner joined Red Bull, I was only 1 year old, so that's how long he had been there. And in my opinion, the reason Red Bull got rid of Christian Horner was an attempt to keep Max Verstappen at the team, because around the same time Horner got sacked, that's when the rumours were going around that Max was off to Mercedes for 2026. But is it too late now? Has Max Verstappen already secretly signed a Mercedes contract for 2027? Over the last few months, Verstappen's been spotted hanging around with Toto Wolff on multiple occasions. I mean, for starters, Max Verstappen's private jet was spotted on the same island as Toto Wolff's yacht, and a few weeks later Max and Toto were spotted hanging around on holiday together at the exact same place. Surely that can't just be a coincidence, there's got to be something behind it. We all know how much Toto Wolff would love to have Max Verstappen in the team, and at the moment it looks like Toto Wolff would be completely fine with binning off his best driver being George Russell to replace him with Max Verstappen. And I say George Russell and not Kimi Antonelli because I think we all know that Max and George would not get on well at all as teammates, and I definitely don't think Toto Wolff wants another repeat of Hamilton and Rosberg. But I'll get more onto George Russell a little bit later. So why would Max Verstappen want to leave Red Bull and jump ship to Mercedes? Well, for starters, the Red Bull dream team that Max Verstappen has been a part of for the last 9 years is no longer the same team as it even was a year ago. Christian Horner is gone, Jonathan Wheatley is now at Audi, and one of the main reasons why Red Bull have been so dominant over the last few seasons, Adrian Newey, is now at Aston Martin. All of this is a huge loss to Red Bull, and in my opinion, partly the reason why they are no longer so dominant. Maybe not the whole reason, but it does definitely play a big part in that. And not even a dominant team, a team who are struggling to even get podiums at the moment, and a team whose second driver just isn't good enough ever, no matter who it is. Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, none of them were ever able to find good consistent pace in that car. And I'm sorry Yuki Tsunoda fans, but Yuki can't even break that second driver curse. I'm talking about Yuki Tsunoda. There is someone in these comment sections who wants me to call him a different name, and I can't lie mate, it's starting to get a little bit weird, so please stop it, thank you. Anyway, with all of these senior figures leaving Red Bull, I think it's led Max to lose a lot of confidence and a lot of faith within the team. And it is starting to show in Max's race results. He's really struggling to even get on a podium. And by the way, without Max Verstappen this season, Red Bull would be last in the Constructors' Championship, which shows just how much that team has fallen off. So no wonder they are doing everything possible to make Max Verstappen stay at the team. But why? Why would Max Verstappen want to go to Mercedes, who you could also argue are another team who have fallen off in recent years? They lost their star driver last year, Lewis Hamilton, who was one of the best drivers we've ever seen in F1 and still is, and winning multiple world championships within that team, and just left like that. No one was expecting it to happen last year when it was announced he was going to Ferrari. They've also barely picked up any race wins since 2022, despite being so dominant between 2014 and 2021 and haven't looked like challenging for a world championship in any of the last few seasons? Well, as we all know, next year the regulations are changing yet again. Well, the rumour going around is that Mercedes are so far ahead of everybody else with these regulation changes that are coming up. And I know that last time we had a major regulation change, which was back in 2022, Mercedes got it completely wrong. And admittedly, they are still paying the price for that right now. However, we have all seen before how Mercedes are perfectly capable of getting these regulation changes right. All we have to do is look at 2014 and how Mercedes was so much quicker than everybody else. In fact, I think they're about a second a lap quicker than everybody else on the grid. And it took the likes of Ferrari and Red Bull until 2017 to even catch back up to Mercedes. And as for McLaren, well, you could argue it took until the start of 2023, not even the start, the end of 2023, to catch back up to Mercedes. That's how dominant and how spot on they got the regulation changes right in 2014. So we know that Mercedes are more than capable of getting these regulation changes absolutely spot on. And imagine how dominant Mercedes could be again with Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli. Yes, Kimi Antonelli has been nowhere near good enough over the last few races. However, we've all seen the potential. I think Antonelli will still reach that potential quite easily. It could be like 2014 to 2021 all over again. Also, for next season, Red Bull are going into the unknown with Ford powertrain. Ford haven't worked on an F1 engine for quite a few years now, which doesn't really help with Max's confidence within that team. And what is adding to this even more is how long it's taken Mercedes to give George Russell a new contract. Now, George Russell does get his fair share of hate, and to be honest, I don't really understand where it comes from. I think Russell is having his best season ever so far in Formula 1 this season, and he has more than earned his right to get a new long-term contract with Mercedes. So why aren't Mercedes giving him one? I think we're getting closer and closer now to the completed version of George Russell. He makes nowhere near as many mistakes as he used to. His overall pace just keeps getting better and better. And honestly, I would go as far to say George Russell is a future world champion. And it does actually surprise me Mercedes would want to get rid of George Russell for Max Verstappen. But then again, it is Max Verstappen. He could walk into any team he likes at any time because he is that good of a driver. I honestly don't know where George Russell would go, but that's for another video. Overall, I think Max to Mercedes is very much possible. I mean, there's a good reason why he's been spotted with Toto Wolff outside of the F1 paddock on multiple occasions. Like I said, it can't just be a coincidence. And it would be very interesting to see what Max Verstappen could do in a Mercedes, and it would be really weird to not see Max Verstappen in a Red Bull. He's basically been there for his whole career. Let me know in the comments, do you see Max going to Mercedes for 2027? Also, like this video if you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel, it's completely free, really helps me out more than you would know, and thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you all in the next one.